Good morning, dear friends. I am coming out to walk with you, to walk with myself, with the sunshine. It's about 7 o'clock where I am. I am drinking a cup of hot water with a tiny drop of the fruit tea. Why? Because when you are asleep, your body is working. When you're asleep, the body is working, and body needs to flush out everything that you've been cleaning out throughout the sleep. So hot water every day. And once you're drinking, you can kind of set an intention for the day. My intention for the day is to find the areas in my house, around my house, that are not comfortable for me. It's a new house. I just moved recently, 1 year ago, not that recently. Inside it looks nice, but it started accumulating some things. You know how everything is new and shiny and you want to keep it nice and clean, but the stuff creeps in. I don't know where they come from. So today my intention is to clean up some things that are not necessarily need to be in my house. Everything around you and within you has a symbol of some sort of how you are, who you are, how you feel, and some things will accumulate just because on that day and that moment that thing was the most important thing, and 5 minutes later it's no longer important. There was a research about why we buy things. So we buy things because they are giving us the sense of pleasure, the sense of owning, the sense of being capable of giving yourself what you need. And then whether you buy something big, like the car, or something small, like a piece of chocolate, the sense is the same. For the human psyche, the happiness comes and goes in the same amount of time. And having a big car or a small chocolate does not create more or longer pleasure, or at least how it registers in the brain. And that was measured, that having often purchasing little things often or purchasing one big things sometime, within those two ideas, purchasing little things more often gives you more pleasure, but things accumulate. I used to have a lot of crystals because for me crystals hold the wisdom of the earth and they stimulate your body, because those are the minerals, in a way that homeopathic remedies could. But the body entrains. So now that energy is within my body and I don't need so many crystals around everywhere, so I start learning how to combine them and how to put them around the house in a more meaningful way, which is building the etheric temples and doing etheric crystal grids. And then I realized they're on my way, so I put some of them outside. And so this is the evolution of one thing in my house. So today my intention is to clear my house and to clear my mind and to clear maybe some of the things from my desk that no longer hold the meaning. Why is it so important? Because the energy that we get in the morning is the energy of decision. What are we going to do with the energy? How we're going to use this energy throughout the day? And if you have to make many decisions, for example, where do I sit? Because a piece of clothes is on a chair. Or where do I write? Because a little booklet or a bunch of papers is on your desk. The power that could go to major decisions and interesting, important things are taken away by these little distractions. We live in an age of attention deficit disorder, not because we're all sick and need to be cured, but because our attention goes everywhere. We have information bombardment every day, and we have many more possibilities to buy things. Oh, I love this sun. Look at this. So beautiful. So many different distractions. Even when you watch a movie, gazillions of time, you see the change of the camera. So your attention is constantly driven, and it's like training of our brain, be constantly jumping from one thing to another. So to keep the focus, especially if you're working from home, which many people did during COVID, and I'm still working from home. I actually many years am working from home because I have a home office. I used to even see my clients in that office. Now I only work on the phone because I know from the distance, I can feel things from the distance, so I'm not necessarily need people next to me anymore. But we become extremely self-sufficient when we need to be alone, working. We need to have a discipline for it, or we become extremely codependent. And this codependency could go different ways. We can codepend on the food in our refrigerator to stimulate our brain to work, or on the people that will always remind you, it's time to work, or your calendar. But the truth of the matter is, we are in charge of our energy. So how we want to use the energy of the sunshine every day, we have that energy given to us by the universe, by the nature, how we use the energy of the water, the energy of the air, how we then use this energy for creating something useful is important. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about my painting that you can see on my page. I posted in the morning. That painting is called The Dreamer. Interestingly enough, I started the canvas with the painting of human sitting in a Buddhic position, in a Buddha position, because the painting was called the Cosmic Buddha. And I incorporated, at the time, it was a couple years ago, I've incorporated all my dreams and ideas in it. Why? Because when you're sitting or standing between the earth and the heaven, you energetically become a bridge between the prana of the heaven, the energy that comes from the sun, from the planets, and also the energy that comes from the earth. That's why you see those positions in all the countries that worship Buddha, and also yogic position. Because yoga is the way to connect the energies within your body and around yourself. Good morning. And then send them through your spine, through your nervous system. So the energy of the head, which is the dreamer, cannot do anything. Head can only think. And the energy of the doer, which is your body, is connected, and you become whole and complete. So I took a piece of paper, I tore it in little pieces, and I wrote all kinds of intention, and I glued it on the canvas. And then I made a figure, and then that figure changed into the tree. Because as I was painting is a silent meditation. And when you are painting, you're in alpha state, which your brain is no longer focusing on what's going on outside, politics, or weather even, or relationships that you didn't complete, or the projects or anything like that. You're focusing on painting. And your creative mind kicks in. And all of a sudden, that figure started connecting to the nature. So the tree came up. So the Buddha was growing as a body, but became at the top, the face and the hair became the tree. It was a very beautiful tree. And what came to mind is the singing tree. What is the singing tree? It's a symbol with which I often go to sleep. I already told you about white seraphim, which is the library, Akashic library, that when you go to sleep, you can always imagine that cloudy white structure with the golden light on top, and fall asleep with the intention to visit ancient libraries of the etheric nature, because all our wisdom is collected somewhere. So you can imagine it's collected in this wonderful library, cosmic library, and in the morning you will have more knowledge from your lineage, from the cosmic lineage of all the wise people that live on Earth. But the singing tree is another symbol with which you can fall asleep. The singing tree is the symbol of a colorful tree, and each leaf has a different color, and they turn. And when the wind, the cosmic wind, blow over the tree, the leaves start moving, and instead of just making the noise that they make on Earth, which is also pleasant, it does a song. It starts singing, and every leaf harmoniously connects with other leaves. And it lives on the island of some sort, and around the island is the sea of tranquility, in which dolphins and whales and other beautiful creatures are swimming. So this symbol helps you fall asleep very fast, but also you fall asleep with the song of the spheres, with the nature symbol, and with the connection to the world of dolphins and whales, which are, I believe, very intelligent, and it's not just my belief. I've researched that. Dolphins, for example, have six compartments of their brain. So while they're sleeping, some of compartments are not sleeping, therefore they can be swimming and doing other things. How do I know that? I also went traveling with the dolphins in Hawaii, where I would come with my group that I've organized for at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock, and they were sleeping in that bay, and we would go sleep with them. And we were waiting until they wake up fully, and then we play with them. Then we measured our heartbeats and everything. And so it was a great research. It was heart math people that use their equipment to check how it is. So that was my research that I've organized. But I like to know things for myself, not just read it from the books. So the singing tree came into my painting with the Buddha. And then after all, I looked at that painting, and there was something off about it, and I couldn't understand what it was. But then I realized that his head was so much bigger than the human head would be. And I do not judge my paintings in terms of how it looks. I see the meaning, because painting is a moving meditation. I move my brush, but not really. My hand is moved by God's will, by universal wisdom, which comes when you are in the alpha state. Alpha state is the state of the brain in which you think creatively and you're focused creatively. So I started looking into it and trying to realize what's going on. And I saw how the third eye of that Buddha, which I didn't paint, was developing there, just in a painting because of the paints of however they lay out. It was glowing. So I emphasized that glowing, and the painting came alive. And it was talking to me about importance of the dream, importance of being able to think wide and far away. So I was listening to this conversation for a while, and I understood through this conversation that however how big our dreams are, they might not be big enough, because we are limiting what we are thinking is possible for us by the process of thinking. Later on, I start researching the way we are not thinking wide and far, and why. So I went through many different sciences, understanding the human limitation from the perspective of the previous experience, holographic memory resolution, future experience, gene keys, what God gives us to unlock our potential. The science of Syucai that I was sharing with you lately is giving a very simple way to understand why. Because human design is very interesting science. So I've learned all of those sciences, and I understood that even though I understand, to teach it, to give somebody else a simple way to understand how the thinking is limiting each concrete individual, including me, of course, was kind of hard, because you had to spend hours and hours giving the science, and then the people had to figure out for themselves. And when I started working with Syucai, the science of knowing at a distance, which was channeled by Zhanat Kozhamzharov, he does not speak English, but it's being certified in US as a science. He's a professor of psychology, and it will be available in English next year. But I already teach it in English, so if you're interested, I will have master classes, 4 master classes, I believe, in November, starting this coming Monday 11th. So don't miss that master class. I will not do free master classes forever. I will do 9 master classes this year, and next year those will be already not free, because to go and learn some things like that is not free for me as well. So I've realized when I do things for free, people do not really value it, because for many people the cost and the value is the same. The information that I give you right now is priceless. I'm giving it for you as a gift. So not everybody can take the gift and use it. Free gifts are laying around and you give it to somebody else, which is also great. But I believe in energy exchange, because while you are giving your energy to something that is interesting for you, you make it more valuable for you. And when it's more valuable, you value it, you cherish it, and you use it. So anyway, the science of Syucai is the science of how you think and what makes your thinking different and special from somebody else. So when you think, you have a strong suit in your mind, how you understand and decipher information, and that same strong thing is also your weak side. So nothing ever is one-sided. Everything has, it's like a medal, 2 sides of the medal, the 2 sides of everything. So if you are a strategist, for example, and you're born on the day 1 of the month, or 10th, or 19th, strategic thinking is a great thinking for the leader, for the business owner, for somebody, for the manager, for somebody who's in charge of things or in charge of the territory. But think about the strategic people. They want to do things their way because they believe they're a strategist and there's nobody else around as good. But we all have our strategies, even if you're not born on the day 1 or the day 10 or the day 19, which in summary is number 1. We all have our strategies. We all move through life according to the strategies, but the strategies are formed according to your thinking. So the limitation of the strategist is exactly what makes him strong. The limitation is, I know better, and therefore I don't listen to anybody. I do what I think is right, and if I see people who are not right according to my position on the strategy, I will fire them if I am a business owner. or I will stop relating to them if it's a personal relationship, or I will simply not listen and do it my way, which might be also limited by my education or experience. And then maybe the strategy would not be optimal. Maybe as a strategist, I do not know how to analyze things. And maybe in my environment, there is somebody who is born on the 3rd or 30th or 12 or 21. And in summary makes 3. And 3 is the person who is great at analyzing, somebody who can calculate, somebody who can see what's profitable, what's not profitable. So maybe my strategy is great according to my thinking, but if I miss analysis, I might make mistakes that will bring me to loss of profit, for example. So as I was developing that painting, the Buddha painting, I understood that removing limitation of thinking gives you a big enough dream, a big enough target, which will allow you to do things that are goal-oriented toward your target, but not limited by your target. Sometimes my clients complain that they want this particular thing, and that particular thing is not happening. And the reason for it is that life is not linear, time is not linear, we are not linear, our thinking is not linear, our experience is not linear. And therefore, if you only want one thing, one concrete thing, it might not come in the time frame you dream about, or in the same way you dream about, which will make you feel disappointed. You miss an appointment with your dream, which will make you quit sometimes, or will make you bitter, or will make you weaker. But the truth of the matter is, life is abundant in spirit and in gifts. But because we're focused on one thing, at this same moment, we're missing something that is just equally important or even more important. For example from my life. I, at some point, was an actress in amateur theater, and we had a guy, not an extremely, good-looking guy. He was in his 30s, not married, and in Russia, if you're not married by 23, 24, 25, it's a little too late. That was my experience back in the day. So he was always looking for a girl. It was never happening for him. And the girl he imagined, and he talked to me about this, so I know how it is. He imagined one particular type of girl, and every time he would go for this girl, nothing good would happen for him because of whatever he was. Life never gives us more or less than just a reflection of who we are, inside and outside. Good morning. And therefore, he was constantly running after something he wants. But right there in his house, multi-story house, there was a girl who was also looking for somebody. How do you know? She became his wife, and we became friends. But she saw him a few times, and she liked him a lot. But he would never pay attention. She actually was a pretty good girl. Pretty good looking. So you would think he would pay attention, but he only wanted blonde girl, and she had dark hair. So that was not even in his focus. And one day, somehow, they met on a bus somewhere else, and she struck the conversation of some sort, and he was talking to her, and he realized that she's very smart and interesting girl. He was a very interesting guy as well, just not a very good looking. But who would know if you are never connecting with anybody? So he felt lonely, and for the first time he felt like he is in connection with somebody. And he said, I'll escort you home. So they've been talking, coming to her house, and he realized she lives in his house. And this is how we are. We're looking for Kate, but there is Mary next door, and we just don't see her. And in our dreams, we do the same thing. We do not realize that the dreams do not come in one chunk. And it's great to be able to see the bigger picture of your life. And the dreams usually are very much connected to your thinking process, which is your birthday. So you might not necessarily feel that what I'm saying is about you. Very often people do recognize themselves through the numbers, but maybe in your particular case you go, no, I'm not sure that's who I am. But when you are in a personal session, strategic session, I give you a little more personal information, of course, because right now I'm talking general, so it's hard to recognize yourself through general talk. So if you're interested, I already finished doing free sessions, but during the free masterclass, I will do personal, I will give you personal attention and personal reading. Otherwise, you can come to the session, and it's deeply discounted session, $50 session, usually 5 times more. So until the new year, I have 20 $50 sessions. So if you or your friends are interested, or you want to buy it as a gift, as a New Year gift for anybody, you can do it. And that would be also awesome for you. And I get to meet you and your friends. So anyway, the Buddha painting, which is on my page, Facebook page, was about understanding how to dream, because the beautiful waves coming as hair from his head were expanding and expanding and moving in spirals, reminding me, giving me information about our life. Being in spiral, we are expanding in spiral. So we go through the circle. Sometimes people go through the same circle again and again and again. We call it vicious circle, because the thinking is limited. And by the way, anybody can expand their thinking, because the only reason we're even in this material plane, because we're souls, we're sparks of God, we're electricity, we're energies and information packed in the physical body. The only reason we're here is to leave behind the limitation of the mind and remembering that we're a member of the cosmic realm. Remembering who we are, that we are spiritual beings having human experience, playing human games, getting into human roller coaster of emotions and fears so we can feel. In the physical body, emotions are energies in motion that we interpret as feelings, certain feelings, and we have a name for it, and we have attachment to it, and we have a judgment about it. But the truth of the matter is that we are sensitive beings. We smell, we touch, we taste, we hear, we see, we intuit, and through those senses, we understand what's right for us, but it's not necessarily right for other person, and what's wrong for us, but it's not necessarily wrong for other person, because we're all different, and we think differently, and we experience life differently. And so our senses are given to us, so we can choose. Even though we are in God's will, what does it mean? It doesn't mean that there is somebody sitting on top of the cloud and telling us what to do. It means that universe is omniscient. We have everything, all kinds of electricities, and it's our choice to be electrocuted or to be burned or to be connected in a harmonious way with the electricity that's right for us, that runs through people, animals, and nature. And hurricane is also one of them. When we had a hurricane, some people evacuated and some people stayed. Some people got flooded because they're closer to the nature. Some people didn't because they're not as close. But all that is happening is the reflection of our thinking and our dreaming and how we make choices based on the limitations we have in those areas. There are other areas, of course, but we're just talking about the thinking limitations. And so as we go in spirals, if we are able to lift ourselves from the vicious circle to go to the next level, every time we still see, we're like circling the life on the airplane, and we see this level below, but we're also seeing the level above. What was possible to us shows up as the summary of everything that ever happened to us, and what is next shows up as what's possible in next level. And so looking back from the, let's say we've been level 1, level 2, level 3. So if we're on the level 2, looking back on level 1 looks like I should have done better. I didn't like that. That's not what I dreamt about. That's not right for me. But from the ground level to level 1, it was exactly what was right for us. It was exactly what we were capable at the moment. And it is exactly how much energy we had. But when you go to the level 2, you already lived through the experience, you already gained the pearl of wisdom, and you can look at it with admiration. Wow, I was very limited and I could be much more expanded. Thank you for giving me that new view. Or you could be judgmental. Oh, that was not good enough, it was not big enough, it was not expensive enough. Whatever judgments we do limit our energy. Because energy of judgment, blame, complain, feeling guilty, or judging somebody else is 20 hertz. Depression is 10. Spiritual, emotional, mental death, 0. Just like freezing water, 0 Celsius, everything freezes. So when you go a little higher, judgment, it feels a little better, because now you're not in depression. Oh, you now can judge other people, they're not good enough, or yourself, I'm not good enough. But you can go higher, which would be fear. But I cannot do it, I will never be able to do it, so hard to do. You can go to fear. This is like 30 to 50 and be fearful, which in the master class on Monday, I will show you, I will draw a card, a mech card, metaphorical card that I've created, working deeply with fear research, working with 64 different fears, and I'll pull a card for you and you'll know exactly what holds you back. So, masterclass is free, it's on Monday, I'll put the link to it right here, but also in today's post you will have my Telegram channel, and I would suggest to sign up. It's also free, so you don't miss the information, because Facebook has lots of stuff coming in and you might lose the post. So anyway, when you are going higher and higher, you have a much bigger view, and as you have a much bigger view, the next level opens up, and of course sometimes it's scary because you haven't been there yet, you haven't dreamed that big yet. But every dream has a tactical approach. Dream is the strategy. Every dream has a practical approach. And practical approach is tactics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, which I can teach you, and you can see it very easily through this numerical digital psychology of Syucai that I'm presenting to you. And then you understand how to jump, how to create a quantum leap from one level to another. Because the levels are only here. In our mind, we judge the levels. I'm here or here or here or here. But we are living in a cosmic soup, in the energetic frequencies of everything that's ever existed and will be existed. Because if it's in your mind, it is somewhere else, and your mind is just an antenna. And if you've picked up the idea, it's yours to do. Do not limit yourself with the experience of the level 1, because you've learned something, but you didn't learn the next skill, the next idea, you didn't meet the next group of people that's available to you, and you didn't talk to God about it yet. Now, when I say God, for some people, it's a very particular character in religion pantheon. For some people, it's the universe. For some people, it's a higher self. For some people, it's the sea of tranquility of your heart. So whatever you see as the higher power, which is the higher power means a little higher than you see, is the power of your intention, which creates the power of your electricity. Example. My intention today is to wash the floors in my house. Okay, it's a good intention. Maybe I don't have much energy for it. I don't like to clean. I have a cleaning lady, thanks God. She likes to clean and she does an amazing job. She's a psychologist, but she doesn't want to be a psychologist. I'm surprised, but things are like that because everybody is different and everybody has their own mission. So, if I have an intention to, today actually, I plan to translate my metaphorical cards in Russian because people around the world that speak Russian ask me for it. And I said, okay, fine, and I have been postponing it because I write better in English than in Russian these days. But I have that intention. It gives me a little bit of the contraction because writing in Russian is hard. But as soon as I think, and I can share part of this work, I can delegate to somebody who is really great in editing, and I have people like that. Okay, now I can create, because now I don't have the limit of things that I don't want to do because I'm not good at it. Or I can only think about, and I can improve that skill, which will help me to work with the next level of my creation, because I like to create in 2 languages. I usually create in English, but I realize there is a lot of people who are listening to me who speak Russian. So why not? I can do both. So, whatever your intention, whether it pulls you down and feels like very heavy and not doable, or feels very uplifted and pulling you forward toward what you want, is in your hands. It's in your power to change. And I always suggest that, and that's my rule, do something that comes easy to you first. Always start with something you can do right away. Always do something that inspires you right this moment and you can actually do it. If you cannot do it, at least do something within the first 5 minutes, even 3 minutes, of this thought and idea coming to you. Even write it down, even make a little drawing about it, because ideas come to me a million a second. And so some ideas are big and I cannot do it, and some ideas are small enough for me to start doing it right away. But when you have a huge, big target, when you have a huge, big dream, all the ideas fit within it. All you need to do is identify priority. So some people identify priority. What do I do first? By how important it is for them. For me, everything's important. So it's hard to identify what's the most important. Things that are in time frames, of course, important, but sometimes I cannot do them, no matter how tight is my time frame. But I can do things that are easy in the moment. Why? It's important to do things that are easy in the moment. It gives you energy. It gives you a sense of completion, the sense of I can, a sense of I am okay. I am doing something that's interesting for me, that I can do, gives you energy, then you can do the next thing that you didn't feel you can do before. So, the next level of your spiraling in life is the dream. And therefore, I put this painting on my Facebook page today, The Dreamer. Because as I was looking at Buddha, and I've heard everything it has to say, and it explained how things should be, because when I meditate with my paintings, because I did them in meditation, and then I listen to them and I write about them, amazing things open up. And the Buddha said, dream, to dream, wide and big. And so I took that vertical painting that I had, I put it horizontally, and believe it or not, I painted the next painting on top of it, not because I don't have many money for the canvases. I have gazillions of canvases. Oh, because that Buddha said, I am, just like you, a foundation for the next step. I am your foundation. You've arrived at, because you know how hard it is to change something beautiful that you've created. By the way, I have a website with my friend, who's an artist. The website is insightfulcolor.com. Insightfulcolor.com. This painting is still there. When you come to the page, it comes up at you. It's like a pop-up. If you don't like the pop-up, you can, there is a cross at the right side, you just switch it off. But it's a pop-up. And that painting with the star inside, blinking like this, is absolutely astonishing. Can you believe I just pour other layer of color on it? Because to be brave enough to make that decision, I've created something beautiful, but I can do something else. I'm not going to keep everything in my closet. I sold some paintings, but this one didn't ask me to be sold. It wanted to continue the journey. So my singing tree, my Buddha, it wanted to continue the journey. And it became a dreamer. I talk too much without water. So that dreamer looks like a bird. Because as you dream, you come high. You see things from the perspective, from the height. And right in front of that dreamer are the universes floating in the air. The universes that have been created by Buddha's thinking, by expanded thinking. So look at that painting to help you connect with that level of thinking that is not necessarily concrete yet. So you can look in the painting with the intention to open your ability to see things from the third eye, from the perspective of intuition, from the pineal gland that is connected to ancient sources of wisdom. Look at that painting as if you want to connect to the cosmic dreamer, not just to dream about bigger car, bigger house. Those are also important things, and I'm sure some of you already have it and some of you will have it when your mind is expanded enough to accept the gift. Because the gift of the universe does not come in the form of the car. Even though you see three men of the same, two cars of the same, these are the people living in this house. Yes, you can dream what the other person has. If my neighbor has a bigger car, I'll have it. And one of the commandments is love your neighbor as you love yourself. So if you love your neighbor and you love their car, and you want the same for yourself, you need to love yourself enough, accept yourself for who you are enough to be able to get what the neighbor has. Because very often we look at the neighbor's stuff not necessarily with the eyes of love, mostly with the eyes of wonder. How come they have three of the same, and why don't I have even one? And that is not the good wonderment. The good wonderment is, what can I create in this world? How can I change my mind? What can I see what I don't see yet? Where is my limitation in my thinking that I don't have what I want to have, regardless of my neighbor? Where am I not loving who I am? Where am I not loving my work? Where am I not loving my neighbors, my relatives? Where do I lose the energy of my creative flow and flow it into judgment, or flow it into envy, or flow it into misunderstanding of yourself? Good morning. So those universes that are flowing are magical because I've intended so. Every painting I paint has layers of energy that absolutely healing and integrating for us humans with our cosmic level of thinking, opening our perspective. And so with your eyes, with the intention to expand, and with your eyes wander around the painting. And as you're wandering around the painting, allow your eyes to settle wherever they need to settle. Allow your eyes to find the point on the painting that works, makes you wander, works for you as a focusing point. And then I'm gonna have a sip of water. And then continue wandering around the painting as long as your mind requires it, with the intention to expand. You will find an interesting change as you do it. You might feel some tingling sensation. You might feel like your ears are popping. You feel like you want to fall asleep, or you feel energized. But notice the change. The change is very important, even in your breath. It might become like this, or it might become deeper, or you might feel the heat, or you might feel the cold. But any change in your physical state indicates the change in your electricity. And when we talk about spirituality, spirit is electricity. Spirit is the energy that inspires us, is the spark, a spark that we didn't experience yet, right? So let's say you're in a level of fear. Whoa, so scary. And you go into, why can't I have it? Why can't I have it? And it's a spark of anger. Anger is a bigger energy. It's more electricity. When you're angry, you can fight. When you're scared, you can only run or hide. And then from this, you might go into courage, which will allow you to see things from the perspective of maybe, possibly, I can do it. Why don't I try? I'm willing to do something different, something new. And on Monday, in a masterclass, I will teach you how to step out of the fears, any kind of fears, through a very fun tool. I work with the animals' symbols, because animals are also symbols, spiritual symbols, like totems. So in many cultures, animals have particular meaning. And I use those totems to bring into the matrix of fears, and through the animals to show where that animals lead you, if you actually allow. Because we are animals too. We're physical beings, just like mammals, but we have reptilian brain, very scary. We also have a bird view, because birds are reptilians, dinosaurs that lost their fear and flew. They also lost some garbage, some extra weight, some dinosaur weight and size, and they became lighter than most of the other dinosaurs, and pterodactyls, some of them flew. And now we have the birds. So it is possible to transform your fears, reptilian fears, into much lighter energies, which I will teach you how on a masterclass on Monday. And when you are able to get to energy of courage, you start wondering. You allow yourself to dream a little bigger. What if? What if? Usually we'll use what if something bad will happen. But we can use the same what if something amazing will happen. Because you don't really know what will happen. And therefore you can predict bad or good things. None of those predictions are true. So looking and focusing into what's possible for you gives you that energy. You feel the energy of courage is about 200 hertz. The energy of wonderment is 350. You start understand 400 hertz. You start understanding your dreams as a possibility. You start seeing things as something that you love. I love this, and I would love that in my life. I would love this kind of relationship. I would love this kind of business. I would love this kind of connection with the universe. And you are moving to 500. Sustaining yourself at 500 is absolutely impossible on Earth. I've seen people, but those are the monks in the monastery. we are walking our reality. And our reality gives us all kinds of experiences, so we can lose our illusions about who we are and find a possibility. Every stumbling stone is also a milestone. Once you step over it, once you overcome something, you become stronger, you become smarter, you become much different from what you've been before. Only if you look at the stumbling stone as something that is significant enough for you to take care of. If you just stumble and stumble and stumble and complain and complain and complain, your energy always stays at 20. That's your choice. If you look at this thing and say, wow, how would it look like if I am over that stumbling block? How would it look like if I am coming up in my spiral, seeing what's been done and understanding life is the beginning, right? This moment, whether I'm 60, 70, 80 or 90, it's the first day of the rest of my life. You've heard that phrase, I'm sure. And that is the time when you feed the animal, your inner animal, with the food of inspiration. In the science of Syucai, we talk about energy as a possibility. When you lose energy, you lose possibility. No energy, no work, no money. No energy, no relationship, no money. No, because relationship bring you money, and everybody wants to have bigger car, bigger house, more money. But truthfully, all you need is more energy. So when you are in emotion of anger, frustration, when you are disappointed, when you are depressed, suppressed, scared, fearful of things, the energy is very, very low. And the energy is low, not because you don't have enough. Look at that. The universe is full of life, full of life. Everything is moving. When you get stuck and you're not moving, that's the moment where you just limit. It's a bottleneck. No air to breathe. You know how when you cry, you go, you cannot breathe because you cannot exhale. When you exhale, the next portion of energy comes in. But we're holding on to things. And we're holding on to things because we believe we cannot do anything else. So when I took this amazing painting of mine, and it was not the first time because I was teaching a lot how to paint your soul out, and I will teach more in the new year. It's called intentional creativity work. When you create something with the intention to expand, you do not hold on. And I had classes in which people would make little small paintings and they would be scared to touch them because something happened and they like it. And so in front of the crowd, I've done it a number of times, I would take my teaching paintings through which I teach, which looks amazing, and everybody, but you can paint so beautiful. I'm like, I've never learned how to paint. I'm an intuitive painter. I just allow God to move my hand. And so I would pour the black paint or the purple paint on top of the painting that's almost complete. And everybody goes, ah, what are you doing? It was so amazing. I would totally buy it. I'm like, I'm not selling it. I'm not selling the painting for you to hold on to it. I want you to create your own. Of course, I sell my paintings as well. But as a teaching moment, I've done it a number of times. Why? Because I want to be brave too. I don't want to hold on to stuff. And so this Buddha is covered by the dreamer. Because Buddha is the past. It's the way of thinking and being open to the universe. But the dreamer is the next level. It's the movement forward. It's ability to see possibilities. And we can all see possibilities. We just do not trust those possibilities are possible for us. But the reason they're possibilities is because they are possible. You need to make them into actualities by taking action. No action, no actuality. So, that dreamer, as you wander your eyes on the painting, something changes in you. And after that, right your dream out. And if it's hard for you, you can write that dream out as a story. Once upon a time, such and such person went on a journey, and she or he didn't know where to go, because there are so many different pathways to happiness, and none of it seemed to be okay. None of them seemed to be real. So he wandered into one direction. He saw this, and he wandered in this direction, and then the universe opened up like a screen of a big TV, and he saw that, or she saw that. So whatever story you write, or draw your dream, after you wander throughout this painting, because this painting meant to open the next level of your thinking, go deep into your third eye. The third eye is located inside your head, between your temples, 1.5 inch above, 1.5 inch above, like there, and 1.5 inch inside. It's a pineal gland that is feeding this mystical third eye. And pineal gland right now in human beings are very small, like a pea, but it used to be like a golf ball, paralyzed. So you go there, and every time you go there, you focus on that spot. You can draw the golden line between this eye and your heart, so the energy flows between your mind and your heart. And you just try to draw something that comes to you with the intention to know more. Where am I going? Where am I going? I know my point A. Where am I going? I'm not going to the retirement and death. I'm not going to more money and more work. I'm not going to more kids and more responsibilities. I'm not going toward more cars and more insurances. I'm going as a spiritual being to lose all the illusions about who I am and know the truth. That's about me. And as I do, every next spiral gives me a car and a house and kids and grandkids and everything else. But those are just the supporting actors on the stage of my life. But the stage of my life is the material plane, which is extremely important to sustain my physical body. And then I have a cosmic stage. And the cosmic stage is my dream, is my thinking. And when I limit it, it becomes a very boring play. If you live in a boring play, you are the writer, you are the actor, and you're a director. Why don't you share that with the world? Share your play, share your stardom. Everybody is born to be a star. If you're not a star in your life, let's talk about it. Come to the masterclass on Monday. Come to my walk and talk. And also connect personally. Write me in direct. And like I said, I can do deeply discounted strategic sessions between now and New Year. It's only $50. Everybody can find $50 these days. Not a big deal. But I am done with free sessions already. And I believe in energy exchange. What you put into yourself, what you invest into yourself, comes back to you 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times. When you get a gift, you sometimes do not value the gift. And I truly believe that what I'm sharing with you right now is life-changing, because I've seen it in my clients. I've seen amazing changes. Business that were falling apart are working. People that lived in somebody else's houses because they didn't know what they need to do, even though they had an education, became a multi-millionaire. I see people who couldn't conceive having babies. I see people who could never find the match in their life, somebody they can relate to, are getting married. Things are different, not because I'm so genius. I am genius for sure, but because people are understanding what are they about and what have happened to them, where they lose the energy and how they can bring the energy back. And the energy back does not come from anywhere, because it's already there. When you start opening up to the ideas that energize you, the energy is waking up. When you walk every morning with me, the Kundalini energy, which is the dragon, at the coccyx, at the bottom of your spine, starts moving. After 10,000 steps, you start thinking differently. After 15,000 steps, the energy comes to your heart. And the thinking and the heart create an atmosphere in which you can fly. You know, like the birds cannot fly in the vacuum of the cosmos. They need a particular atmosphere for it. And so if your atmosphere is here, down there, you don't have the velocity to lift up. But when you start moving toward your dream, however small it is right now, with the intention, I want to be more expanded. I want to see more. I want to feel more. I had a client, by the way, who I worked with for a couple of years, and he got to the point where he could rule the rulers, really, traveling around the world and working with the people at the highest positions, even the kings. Will not mention anything else, but he came back to the session and said, I've done this, I've been here, I've done this, look at me, all the pictures. I'm like, wow, I want everything that I haven't had before. And I asked him, really, everything? Yes. Are you ready? Because universe is omniscient. It's not good or bad, it's omniscient. Everything means everything. And he goes, yes, I want everything. So strong. I'm like, okay, let's do it. So we had a session, and he's gotten a few millions offers of some sort. So he's been doing it. And then the people who offered that offer start suing him for a lot of millions. He comes back. What do I do? What do I do? I'm like, excuse me. You ask for everything. You haven't had that experience yet. And so if you want to be strong and you want to be different and you want to know everything, especially in his profession, yes, you got what you asked for. He's like, okay, what do I do? And he wanted to continue that court procedure because he said, and I can get it back. I'm like, no, you're not getting it back because you've gotten it not in very ecological way. You're leaving it behind, you settle, and you free up your energy. And he's like, really, $12 million? I'm like, yeah, $12 million. Like, what are you talking about? Like, okay, fine. You can continue. So he continued for another few millions, comes back. Oh my God, I lost. Like, that's great. Because now you know that you can lose it. That means you can find it. Because that's an expansion of your understanding. You got everything, not everything. You didn't get more millions yet because you didn't know how to lose. Now you know how to gain. He's like, okay, I'm leaving that behind. So he settled the case, comes back very happy. He's like, okay, I'm free. You can't believe how free I am. I stopped thinking about, I stopped grinding my teeth at night. I stopped strategizing myself. I'm so happy. I'm like, you could have been happy a few weeks ago when I told you first time. But okay, now we can move. So, the reason I'm telling you this story, if you remember and if you watched in the beginning, I started with accumulation. We accumulate stuff in our field, in our homes, in our mind, and this accumulation does not let you move in life. And therefore, today my intention is to clean up some of the things and throw things out and give them away. By the way, if you have a rounded table is not good in a house because energetically it doesn't have a structure. It's moving in circles, so you see it every day. I love circular things, but truly the energy is not optimal. Don't sell it, just give it away. Just an idea. You don't have to do it. I never say anything that you have to do. Just suggesting stuff. Structure your space in a way that when you work, you can sit with your face to the north. When you sleep with your face to the north, your feet to the south. Your feet to the north, so your face to the north, your head to the south. So there is an organizing principle of energy. But you can organize your energy all you want, and then you can lose your energy in one conversation or in one limiting thinking. So today, my expanded intention is cultivate my energy through connecting to things around me and to people around me in a more ecological way, which is not through accumulation, not through holding on, not to create bottlenecks, of energy, but in a way that I let everything be, including the people in my life. You can be the way you are because you are who you are. You're not me. Therefore, I cannot really tell you how to be. Yesterday, I was at the broadcast. I was invited to a TV show to talk about things that I do with a doctor of philosophy, Dr. Gloria. I'll send the link somewhere here as soon as I have that broadcast. And we talked about this a lot. And there was a person invited to the broadcast. She wanted to understand who she is, why things are happening like this way. And when I start, and I never seen her before. I don't know anything about her but her birthday. So she gave me the birthday right there. I asked her, she gave it to me, and then I gave her a 10 minutes rundown on her life, and she said, oh, how can you even know that? Well, because I know her birthday, and I know she's very different in some aspects than many people, but there is a similarity between me and her, so it was even more interesting to see how that interplay went, because she understood what I was telling you. And you can look at the broadcast and see when she's given the medical intuitive expertise, she's sitting with her face very straight, not much emotions, because this information needs to think through. It's important information, but she's not recognizing because we're not aware of our medical conditions. And when I come online and start telling her about her life and where things are, she's like, oh my God, yes. So for everybody's energy, it's important to be recognized. It's important to have at least one person who tells you, yes, I know you, I see you, I understand where you are, and I can even help you understand where is your point B, where is the next step you're going, and how you can do it more ecologically. And that's what my sessions are about. That's what my conversations with you are about. And I appreciate when you give me a little fire, a little icon, a little something, so I know you're alive on the other side. It's not just, I'm not talking to the silent audience. And also, I would appreciate you sharing this information with people that might benefit from you sharing it. And also, ask questions. You can ask anything you want. When you ask questions, my energy is directed toward you. It's a true energy exchange. When I'm just talking and talking, I can talk about anything because I know a lot and I could talk for another 2 hours, which I will not. No worries. I'm just walking, and talking inspires me to walk. And if you listen to the beginning of the broadcast, you notice how slowly I talked, how hard it was to start, because I just came out of the bed. And now my energy has risen to my head. The ideas are jumping in. So after I finish with you, I will start writing down on my phone the notes for my day and for my creation. So the head clears up when you walk. And if you didn't walk yet, please do. I also have a little bike that is under my writing desk. When I'm doing my sessions, I'm still moving my feet. And the more of this you do, the more Kundalini energy rises up. In the science of Syucai, the science of knowing from the distance, it's based on Chinese culture, and the channel for it is Chinese sage. And my teacher, Zhanat Kozhamzharov, is the disciple of the very unique lineage. He has unique lineage knowledge about the universe laws, and the teacher has chosen him to initiate him. So when I went to Istanbul, after learning a lot before, I went for initiation. So there was 1 week of communication study with the trainers, and Zhanat Kozhamzharov would come to the class and give us a deeper understanding. And then at the end, there was an initiation. And that initiation, and actually throughout the 6 days, we had fire qigong. The fire qigong was his initiation with the fire and water for every member who came to this class. So he's done over 150 fire qigongs, personal connection, personal session, in which he uses water and fire to initiate your body. This experience is out of this world because the energy runs down your spine as a hot, fiery water. So it creates a reset. There is no burns or pain or anything like that. It's more of a awakening moment. And then the son of the channel who brought this knowledge in, this Chinese guy, so his son was doing the second part of this qigong, which was touching the hot electrical wire on the electrical stove, and then working with the spine as I was laying down. So I received 4 of each, 8 initiations throughout the week. And then at the end, there was the last initiation in which all the knowledge, all the channel of that teacher, Zhanat Kozhamzharov, gave it to us, to the students, to the masters, to initiate the mastery. So I could talk before a lot. Now I can talk just as much about Syucai, because now I've connected to that iCloud of the knowledge, which allows you to understand personal development and business development in a simple way, in an ecological way, and how things could be better. So I'm extremely grateful to the teacher, and also to the teacher of the teacher, who's no longer alive, because he gave initiation as he was leaving this world to Zhanat Kozhamzharov. And I am extremely grateful for what I've received, because I've received the structure that I can transfer to each one of you through my field, through iCloud, but also through the master classes, to give you the words of wisdom that are connected to my life experience, which are examples that I give you for each one of them, so you can understand what I'm talking about, and initiate you to have a structure in your life. If you feel that you lost direction, you lost the structure, you're gaining weight, you're losing thoughts, especially after COVID, our brain became very mushy. That is for you. So come to masterclass on Monday. I'm inviting you not because I need anything from you. I'm inviting you because you need everything from it. And it's free. I'm giving it for free because Zhanat Kozhamzharov, in his abundance, also gives things complimentary so people can understand the value. Okay? It's not free. None of it is free. Nothing is free. I cannot begin to tell you how I traveled the world to collect. I went to Peru. I went to Costa Rica. I worked with shamans. And I came to this knowledge because that knowledge holds the structure of all the knowledge. Nothing is panacea, of course. Nothing is one and the only. But at this point of my life, I can take all that I know, plus the new knowledge, and structure it in a way that is clear and understandable even for the child. So, by the way, if you have children, young children, and you don't know what to do with them, just like this woman on yesterday's TV broadcast that I was part of, she had 3 children. What do I do with them? In 3 seconds, I gave her the rundown about her family, and she's like, how do you know that? Like, because that's it. I know from the distance, because I have the tool and methodology, how to approach that. So if you have children and you don't know what to do with them, ask. Give me their birthday and ask. And the masterclass will be about that. You can ask any question you want. And then, if you don't know what to do with your business, if it's falling apart, or you want something to start and you don't know how, not that I know your business, but I know your energy. And I know the business energy. If you tell me what you want to do, I will read the energy of the business and give you all the optimal information for you to be successful. If you want to do something, I'll give you the day on which is the best day to do those things, because they need to be connected to your energy. Don't do things randomly, because I've done things randomly. Nothing happens, unfortunately, with the random stuff. You need to plan, and you need to plan according to your energy and according to your dream. And then if you have college students, people who are about to find a job, or people who are about to go to college, young people, those are the most desirable audience for me. I work with young people a lot, and people up to men up to 45 or so that are about to create the business or about to lose the business. Like, these are the people who are in charge of the material possession of the world, and people who are coming to colleges to become the next generation of the workers of society, of the inspirers of society. And if their energy does not match their college, most likely they will not work by their profession. Most likely they will not gain any benefit from it. Most likely they will not be interested, and they will not be good at that. How many doctors do we know who don't want to be the doctors? You go to their visit and you know, this is not the doctor. They needed to be something else. How many engineers are sitting at their desk hating their job? Because those are musicians. And how many musicians, I'm one of them, who've been studying music for 5 years and dropped out because that was not my dream, it was my mother's dream. So knowing the information about your birth allows me to show you what's optimal for your child to get into the appropriate college and appropriate division of the college, so they don't waste money. You put $100,000 into it, they come, so you have a debt or your child has a debt, and they come out and this education is for nothing. Or at least if they have an education, I'll show you where is this place in which they could be successful with this education. Because you can have any education, but you need to understand the sphere in which that education will be appropriate, optimal for you. And if you don't find that sphere, there's only 9 spheres, by the way, but you need to be very precise. Because if you're not precise, you're not in the right sphere, the money is not coming. And the money is not coming means you don't have energy. If you have energy, money is coming. So if you don't have energy, you don't have energy for life, for sex, for love, for children. You have energy for nothing, for traveling, for nothing. So if you're interested, and if you heard something on this broadcast that makes any sense to you, please share. And I know it's long. The masterclass is not going to be as long. It will be more interactive. I will give each one of you a precise information that is relevant to you. But the broadcast, when I'm walking, is not just for you. It's also for me. And if I keep walking and talking, I will keep walking. If I stop talking, I might not be as energized. You energize me. And for that, I give you a heartfelt thank you. It is important for me to connect. It is important for me to be with you because God gave me the talent. My talent is to talk and to talk and to talk and to talk. And being connected to the ancient knowledge of the world, which I've collected, like I said, around the world for many, many years. I traveled and traveled and traveled. And I even traveled to Istanbul last month. Because that was I believe, the pearl on top of my pearls. Because everything else gave me mystical knowledge. This gave me the business structure. That gave me the language to explain it in a much easier way. So, I am a cosmic being, so a lot of my conversation is about cosmic energy. But you are also a cosmic being. You are a star. You fall into the earth, you forgot your stardom, and it's time that you remember who you are. You start shining, 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 because you have that light, and don't wait for anybody to give you spotlight. You are that spotlight for everybody else. Bring somebody else to success. Share something you know, and you will be illuminated by this energy of being of service. That's my intention. Whatever your intention is, wander with your eyes around my painting of the dreamer on my Facebook page and write it down. We'll talk about it on the masterclass. Much love. Thank you for being with me for an hour and a half. Wow. Some of you are amazing. Some of you have stayed through the whole end. I appreciate you. And I see every one of you who shows up as a listener. And I even see your comments. With you, the entire walk, we both can talk forever. We do. Much love. Have an amazing day.